My name is Craig Cooper. I am the owner of Bikes to You. Kyle Yeager, the charter director for our campground charter, and Barb Waite is is joining us. And can you try to unmute Francisco? Francisco is also on. Is our kind of assistant RAGBRAI style director. Francisco, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me, Craig?
Yes, I can. Absolutely. Fantastic. Well,
Perfect.
Francisco, I want to tell the group, first of all, that Francisco's been a longtime friend, and he has worked with Bikes to You a couple of times for RAGBRAI. He happened to be available for work this year, and he's just a terrific individual, and I think that you'll find that incredibly supportive as far as customer service goes. Um,
Thank you, Craig, for giving me that that introduction.
yeah, I don't want to
I'll
build
buy
you
you.
up too much, but
I'll pay you. I'll pay you later.
okay. So a couple of things that we would like to talk about for the RAGBRAI in style and how things will work. We're going to, during this webinar, we're going to talk about, you know, packing and what to pack, first day check-in, getting to Sioux City, what a typical day looks like, and getting home at the end of the week. Um, uh, Obviously, we don't need the campsite for uh, the day bag, but it is nice if you get in early to have a day bag if you want to shower or to spruce up before going to the hotels. In years past, or last year, we had several people that were very, very fast riders and got in well before the first shuttle to the hotel, and basically had to stand around for 3 or 4 hours um, with you know with sweaty clothes. So you can pack a day bag to bring on the on the van, and that van would be in the shuttle van that Francisco will be driving. It's a 12-passenger van. We want to make sure that everybody can see the PowerPoint presentation. So if you're not seeing the PowerPoint presentation, please say so. But there are moving screens, or different slides. So go ahead and go to the next screen if you will. You are on the RAGBRAI style. We will tell you that you can bring as many bags as you want. You certainly don't have to worry about bringing anything like lawn chairs or the sleeping stuff because of the you have the hotel rooms, but we do ask that those bags be 30 pounds or less. I One of the things that, like I said before, if RAGBRAI is RAGBRAI because of the pass-through towns, and we would really like you to take your time riding from town to town. And if you get in at noon, you probably want to have that day trip bag. Let's go to check-in. Okay. Things that you should bring are at least 3 pairs of shorts and a jersey. Or jerseys, obviously non-riding clothing and toiletries. We really would rather you not bring a computer or a laptop. The for the transportation of your bags, even though it's a smaller charter and a smaller venue, we try to take care of it the best we can. But we really would prefer that they not have breakables in there. Kyle put bike shoes up there because I just left for pre-ride 2 weeks ago, and I got all the way to Sioux City, and I didn't have my bike shoes. So I thought it'd be funny to put that in the slide, I think. If you have any questions about packing, don't hesitate to type them in here. I'll answer to the best of my ability. but certainly would want want you to ask those questions. So check in Grinnell on Friday. We will transport your bikes with the standard, um, uh, with the standard campground bikes that are going up in the semi truck. That's how we'll get those to Sioux City. The bike shop will be open until 8 o'clock that night. You may also drop your bags at the bike shop, and certainly if you do leave your bags there, we'd like to identify those as RAGBRAI in style so that we make sure those get onto the appropriate vehicle. In the morning, Saturday morning, our check-in is from 6:15 to 7:15 a.m. We'll have you ride the charter bus, which is standard motor coach. I think that's probably more comfortable than the 12-passenger van at that point. If you need to park a vehicle, we'll ask that you be here by 7 a.m. Kevin says, what about iPads? I think that's probably a more durable option, Kevin, is to bring an iPad. Certainly if you have a protective case, that would be even better. The buses will leave at 7:30 a.m. We've been pretty punctual the last couple of years. There was a time in my life where we were always late leaving, but we should leave by 7:30. We're going to do our best to get all the RAGBRAI and style folks on one particular bus, just so that if we need to have a conversation with those folks, with you folks, we can do that. If you are flying into Des Moines, we are we are currently going to use multiple hotels, and we'll have Francisco. We're going to give you a range. I didn't want to lock anybody into a more expensive hotel than they wanted. So there's an area of Des Moines that has 3 or 4 hotels that kind of cover all the price points, and we're gonna use that area, and then we'll take you to our Des Moines pickup spot, which is actually a parking lot just off of Jordan Creek. The bus, if we're picking you up there, the bus and the semi should arrive in Des Moines at approximately 8:30. There will be a representative. Francisco will be on the ground there ahead of time. We'll load your bikes onto the truck, get you checked in with Francisco, and get the buses rolling just as quickly as we can on down the road to Sioux City. Previously, I may have said you have the option to come to Grinnell on Friday night if you fly, or Friday if you fly into Grinnell, and we would absolutely love that. If you'd like to come to Grinnell the night before and you're flying in, we'll arrange for, it's included in the price, we'll arrange for transportation from the airport to Grinnell, and you can stay in, you can choose a hotel of your expense and your choosing. We have a couple of nice bed and breakfasts. That information would be to follow, or you can just ask me about that. But we will have a full range of options in Des Moines if you don't want to make the trip east and then back over. Just so you know, to give you a little idea, the bikes are transported via semi-tractor trailer to Sioux City and home from Davenport. We pack with packing blankets. I want to say, knock on wood, since we went to this method, we haven't had an issue with damage of bikes. We always have a broken computer here or there or something like that, but we really have had pretty good luck with this method of transporting bikes. If you wish to pack your bike in additional pipe foam insulation, absolutely do it. You won't offend us. We will care for your bike as if it was ours, but we also understand if you'd like to take extra measures. If you are shipping your bicycle to me, I want it to arrive in Grinnell by that Tuesday or Wednesday at the absolute latest. FedEx and UPS do not consider anything lost unless it's been left for 3 days or gone for 3 days. So we want to make sure that your bike is here, and more importantly, if it's damaged, we want to be able to get that repair started on the ground here before we get out there. If your bike is in a box, assembly of your bicycle is included in the price of the charter. You do not have to put your own bicycle together. We have 4 qualified bike mechanics that are out there on that Saturday, and we'll take care of all your cycling needs. The one little side benefit to the RAGBRAI in Style charter is that if you do need bike repair during the week and you can come find bikes to you, your labor is included. We don't charge additional for that. You just pay for parts. So that's a little spiff that we do. So any adjustments or what have you that you might need. That said, if you ship your bike into us in a box, we're going to leave that bicycle. We're going to inspect it for damage, and then we're going to leave that bicycle on or in the box for the trip out. I feel that it's safer to have it in a box, and so we'll just leave it in there, and we'll assemble it when we get there. We will keep those storage boxes and or bike boxes on the semi-trailer for use at the end of the week if you choose to do that. And we have room to carry those. As far as loading your bags on the charter bus, we want you to put your bags on the charter bus that you get on and ride. That's just make sure that your bag is kind of with you, and especially with the RAGBRAI in Style folks, we want to make sure that is close to you. If we would run out of room on the bus, we would. I think we'll take those bags to the actual 12-passenger van. On the way out, we'll make a pit stop for a snack, go to the restroom. On the way to Sioux City, it's a pretty good haul up there. We don't need anybody to cramp up or go without food. So we make it a point as a charter, both our campground charter and as our RAGBRAI in Style, to get to Sioux City or to get to the start town at a reasonable time so that you can enjoy all that's going on. The starting day of RAGBRAI has really turned into a pretty incredible festival of all things bicycle. And Sioux City is, I'll tell you, that town is putting on the Ritz for this year's ride. The whole downtown area is just going to be alive with entertainment and vendors and all kinds of food and fun. So if we can go to the next slide. The shuttles leave from the hotel at 6 a.m. Our RAGBRAI in Style shuttle leaves at 6 a.m. and that's sharp. We want to be rolling so one of our hotels is and we did this. We talked about this carefully. The choice of hotels I'll begin with in Iowa is somewhat limited to begin with, and then throw 25,000 people who want hotels on top of it, it gets really, really sticky. But one of our hotels is 60 miles away, and we're staying at the Hotel Pattee in Perry the night that we're in Fort Dodge. I've stayed in the hotel. It has a bicycle theme. They're great people. I think it's it's a historic hotel, and I think it's well worth the extra few miles to get there. That said, we're going to need to leave from Perry at 6 a.m. to get back to the campground where your bikes are, so that you can jump on and ride the day by, get going by 7 or 7:30 at the absolute latest. So what we want you to do is when we're moving hotels, and it says if we are moving hotels, because this year we have 2 different sites where we're actually staying double nights in a hotel, so you wouldn't have to move your bags. But if we're moving those, we want you to bring your bags to the lobby and to either Barb or Francisco to be loaded on one of the vans. We really want to encourage you to enjoy the day's festivities along the way. Like we said, RAGBRAI is about the overnight town or the pass-through towns and how these towns really go out of their way to provide, a great experience. My goal is to help you get lost in Iowa. We want you to find something that, something new and something that's adventurous and not too lost, but have some new experiences. You guys have the benefit of knowing that you're going to be sleeping in a hotel room, so you don't have to worry about tent setup. You don't have to worry about any of those things. Take your time, enjoy the day, eat lots of pie. That said, I do want to talk a little bit about riding. Um, this year's, so I'll go back and tell you that I rode the RAGBRAI pre-ride with the RAGBRAI officials, not this last week, but the week before last. And this is a challenging ride this year. I consider myself just an average cyclist, and it's a tough one. Now, we did have 4 days of headwinds on the beginning of the ride this year, which made it tough, especially with all the hills coming out of Sioux City. That day is a tough day of climbing, and I don't want to make it sound horrible. It's very doable for even average cyclists. It's just it's a tough ride. That said, we want you to drink plenty of water. We don't want anybody getting dehydrated. We'll have lots of bottled water on the vans, and we want you to stay hydrated and keep pumping those fluids in. And, July can be horribly hot, and there's there's just no substitute for drinking lots of water. You will receive. I want to go back to that thing about water too. I think it's imperative this year that your bike be equipped with 2 water bottle cages. There, we are. We have a couple of stretches where we're 15 to 20. I think there's one where there's 22 miles between towns, and not that there's not farmhouses with water and what have you, but I'd have 2 water bottles on board on your bike just so that you can make sure that you don't run out of water. There seems to be fewer pass-through towns, but they are high quality pass-through towns. So. Then just to go on, you're going to get Google Maps of the campsites. They'll be emailed out in July. Those campsites will be advantageous because that's where you're going to drop your bicycle and be picked up by Francisco. You will then you'll be taken back there in the morning. The bikes are held inside the tractor trailer, so it's a secure environment. You don't have to worry about your bike being stolen or anything like that. They're in our care and custody, and we will treat them as if they were our own. But the reason we don't send those Google Maps out is things can change. Right now, we do know where we're going to be. It's just a chance that they can change. Go ahead to the next slide. Sure.
Okay. So this is Kyle. I'm the charter director. So this is one of the parts where you guys will have a lot of overlap with the other charter. So follow these signs that you see on the right side of the screen. Every year it seems like people follow different signs and they end up at the wrong place. If you follow BBC, which is Bransel's charter, you're not going to end up in the right place. You might end up close, but Bob's not going to necessarily know where we are. So make sure you're following the BTU signs. They will be posted every block to 2 blocks, depending on available locations of posting them. Some towns have lots of wooden signs that are very easy for me to staple our signs to. Some of them have very few signs that I can put our signs on. So we try to do it every block so that it's easy for you guys. You can see one and you can actually see another one up ahead, and so you know you're staying on the right track. But also, sometimes you guys are really tired when you get in, and so we try to make it as easy as possible to follow those signs. When there is a turn, I try to put a couple of the signs on the turn to make sure you see them and you get turned. I try to use the rider route as much as possible. It's just easier if you're able to follow the group, but know that those signs are posted. I will start signing at the beginning of the town. There are some charters that they're going to be camping 4 miles out of town. You might see their signs. When in doubt, keep following the rider route. Once you get to town, you will see our signs.
And for the RAGBRAI and style folks, the other thing too is at the end of this presentation, we'll make sure that you have the cell phones of Kyle as well as Barb Waite. There's you know, and that I would like to address in the other issue about route support. We have the capacity for the for you folks, the RAGBRAI style folks. We have the capacity to provide a higher level of service, and as far as logistical support. If you get in a situation where you cannot ride the full day, the only limiting factor for us is whether we can get Francisco or Barb to a location to pick you up. The situation is that the Des Moines Register RAGBRAI is very, very clear about us not being on the bike route. And so if we can't get to a particular town without being on the bike route, we'll have to have you take the RAGBRAI SAG wagon to a point where we could pick you up. That said, if one of you has said, on the second day or third day, hey, I want to ride a half day, we can make that accommodation for you folks. We'll get you, to the meeting town so that you can take off from there. It's a little easier to take somebody, to skip somebody forward than to try to find them midday in a meeting town, because those can be quite hectic. But we have the capacity to do that, and we will. There will be a Google survey coming out. We just are going to ask some basic questions of the RAGBRAI style folks. We want to know, we want to know which sports drinks you prefer. If somebody wants chocolate goo, I want to make sure we have chocolate goo. Any type of legal supplements, I put it that way. And then, just so that we can make sure that we have something that will be useful to you. Going along with that, when you get in at night, we want you to leave. You're going to leave your bikes with the campground crew. That's with Kyle or Joel Bauman. You'll recognize these folks after the first day. Those bikes, your bikes are going to get locked in a trailer overnight, and the Francisco will leave from that site, and we'll drop you back off at that site. Right now, we've designated the shuttle times as 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Those are for sure shuttle times to your hotel. There may be a situation where we have the opportunity to do an earlier time, but with the routes that are out there this year, I'm not certain that that's gonna present itself. But for sure, there will be shuttle times at 4 p.m. and then 7 p.m. The reason we do the later one is if you want to eat in the overnight town and take in some of the overnight town activities, that 7 p.m. allows you to hit one of the church, supper, or go downtown. And there's always, but each of these overnight towns start their music at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you can kind of take in some of the overnight town. It's going to be a little bit ad hoc as to, we have the capacity to take all of you at one time. I'm not certain that'll pan out. It'll be a little bit ad hoc, but know that if at 4 p.m. if all 12 of you want to go to the hotel, we have the capacity to do that, and likewise at 7 p.m. If you have any questions about the daily writing, I certainly want you to ask those, how we might help out. Basically what it comes down to is when it, the writing portion is is kind of up to you guys to do, and Francisco and Barb are there to support you and to get you to the hotel. Barb will do all the check-in at the hotel. She'll hand out keys to each room so that you have those. She'll do all the advanced work on that end of it. If there's any kind of incidentals or what have you, I'm not going to worry about that. Don't drink their $9 bottle of water on the shelf. We'll have water there, but we will have a hospitality area set up each night with adult beverages and pop and water and probably some cheeses and crackers and things like that. And Barb will have a lay of the land as far as what's available food-wise if you need to be shuttled to a restaurant from our hotel. I think several of our nights, the hotel has several restaurants within walking distance, but certainly we have the ability to shuttle you to a hotel or to a restaurant, and that's the plan. And that's kind of as far as you can choose what you're hungry for, and we'll try to get you to the nearest hotel. I know Barb was in the process of kind of scouting all those out last we talked. So let's go on to getting home. At the end of the week, the charter buses are going to leave Davenport at 3 o'clock. If you happen to leave the ride before Davenport, please inform Barb. In the case of an emergency, or if you have an injury or anything like that, we want to be there to accommodate you, but we do also want you to communicate with Barb if you are not going to be taking the ride home. The signage to the loading area for the buses begins after the dip site at the river. So kind of technically you have to go to the dip site in order to catch up with our signs. That said, if you don't want to stand in line to dip your tire, turn around and you'll see a sign shortly, and then you'll be on our on the way. Kyle's gone to quite a bit of extra work to try to get the buses and the semi closer to the dip site. Last time we were in Davenport, we were like 6 miles upriver, and it was a long haul, especially after a long day. And so we're going to be at the Yonda motor supply site. We've contacted that business, and it's on 61 right there. We may actually end up sending a bus home early depending on the riding conditions. I mean, if we have a full bus at 1 o'clock or 1:30, we'll probably let the bus roll. But I do want you to know that the RAGBRAI in style, the bikes will not come back until the semi leaves at 3 o'clock. So unfortunately, we won't have that. You're just going to be in Grinnell waiting for that. If you're a Des Moines pickup, we will then shuttle you from Des Moines on into or from Grinnell on into Des Moines that evening. If you'd like to stay in Grinnell, we can make those arrangements as well. Grinnell's a nice, pretty little town, and we do airport shuttles all day on Sunday. So Linda Mata asked if there's Grinnell hotels at the end, and yes, you're more than welcome to stay in Grinnell. Linda, we've got a Comfort Inn that is probably, I apologize and say this as well as they can. It's probably our high-end hotel. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's the highest end we got. Actually, the bed and breakfasts
Yeah, I was
are the
just going to
best.
say, so the Carriage House Bed and Breakfast, and we'll be pushing those phone numbers to you. We can do that tomorrow. The phone numbers for the Carriage House as well as uh, the Grinnell House, the Spalding home.
Spalding.
Excuse me, the Spalding home. Those are two terrific options within one block of the bike shop, and probably, quite honestly, less expensive than the Comfort Inn or the other hotels. Know that with RAGBRAI in Style, we're going to have somebody on hand to shuttle you to and from, and that's included in your transportation. If you say to me, I need to have a ride to Des Moines and be there by 5:30 a.m. Sunday morning, we will make sure that happens. That is part of the deal. So if you want to go into Des Moines on Saturday night, that's absolutely a possibility. And I would encourage, if we do that, and you're flying out of Des Moines, we would take you to a Des Moines airport hotel, which is one that would have a shuttle to get you over to the airport that morning, so that we didn't just drive to Des Moines from the airport over. And then the last one is we've got who to contact. Barb Waite his phone number is up there, 990-3493. Kyle Yeager is 641-990-6654. I think most all of you have my cell phone number. I'll give that to you, 641-990-4820. My job during the week of RAGBRAI is that I run the repair vehicle, and so I am in a pass-through town somewhere on the route each day, and I personally touch between, I don't know, 300 to 500 bicycles during the week of RAGBRAI. So that's where you'll find me, that I have the ability to direct and get a hold of people as well, so if we need resources. I'd just like to open it up to questions. Oh, I do, yeah. Kyle is bringing up cell phone use in these overnight communities is really tough. I mean, you get 25,000 people in a town the size of Eldora, and the bandwidth goes away in a heartbeat. So sometimes text messages are a lot easier to deal with. Linda asked, will our crew pack our bikes in boxes at the end of the ride in Davenport? If you're going to use the shipping method from the Davenport dip site, I would encourage you. You can use the boxing that is there. If you're going to have a call tag sent for your bike at the bike shop when we get home, or have me take it to our local mailboxes, etc., or it's actually called a total choice shipping, we'll take care of boxing your bike for you. That's part of the charter service, and there wouldn't be an additional charge. Boxing the bike in Davenport and then taking it back over to their shipping is probably a logistical. It'd be a little tough to do that, just from, you got to drag the box and that kind of thing. But we can certainly, it is included if you are going to ship your bike from Bikes to You at the end of the ride. And what I've told people is, if you know someone that has a FedEx account number or a UPS account number, it is much, much cheaper for you to issue to email me a shipping label or issue a call tag than it is for you to ship it from the end of the ride, or even from Total Choice Shipping. And our local guy does a great job, but he gets retail rates to ship it. So if you know somebody that has a UPS or Federal Express account number, get those labels made ahead of time and emailed over to us, so that all we got to do is put your bike in a box and ship it off to you. I think Kevin had another question. Will the day bags be transported for us? Yes, they will. Kevin, we're going to you do not need to carry your day bags. Francisco will make sure that those day bags are at the campground charter, and even if he has to leave, we'll put those day bags in the front of the semi where we store the bikes. So that's not that won't be an issue as far as having to carry them. Is there another question? Oh, no, I haven't seen one. This is our second. I want to just talk to you a little bit about RAGBRAI in Style. This is our second year of doing this. The first year we had 9 folks, and this year we have 12. How we came about by doing it was, for years people would call me and say, ask me 100 questions about RAGBRAI, and then say, now, do you get hotels for us? And I would laugh. I would just giggle and say, you're crazy. And then finally, after the 100th time of somebody saying that, I said, why don't I find hotels for folks? And that's how this was born. I would like to just say that I want you to go away from this with a great experience about RAGBRAI and Iowa and Bikes to You. And to that extent, we will try to do everything that we can outside of, we can't change the weather and we can't change the terrain of Iowa, but we want this to be enjoyable for you. And we know we've been around long enough on the charter service to know that folks get cranky because they're hot and tired, and that's part of the challenge. There's a reason. I think it was Outside Magazine 3 years ago or so named RAGBRAI as one of the last top 10 adventures in the United States. It's because it's not easy. It is an adventure. You are at Mother Nature's wrath. Now, you folks aren't at Mother Nature's wrath as much as others during the night, but the heat, the humidity, the thunderstorms, all of those things can take a part of that. And it is really meant to be a true adventure. If you've not done RAGBRAI, I want to tell you that there is nothing in the world like it. It's an amazing sight to see this many cyclists. For the most part, people are very, very friendly. It's Iowa's chance to shine on the national stage. So looks like there's another. Let's see here. We are flying with your bikes. They will be packed and transported to Des Moines Airport on the final Sunday after scanning Grinnell. Then we'll get. If you're flying with your bikes, we'll get those in a bike box, either out there in Davenport, or Saturday night when I get home, we'll get them boxed. But we will make sure that they are boxed and at the airport with you on Sunday. That's no problem. Is that fair to?
Yeah.
Because
we take the boxes with us.
We want to go. Lost our audio connection. Can you type something in there so I can see it?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks. We just got lost our audio connection for a second there. I wanted to go back and talk about something about the daily riding. And this is something that is really important with the large number of people that you're going to be riding with, and that is to communicate. Communicate your intentions when you're stopping or slowing. Even with just 25 or 30 people on pre-ride, we would call out our moves. If you're going to pull off to the side of the road, you want to say slowing, stopping, tell people what you're doing. When you are getting on the bike route, you want to obviously look for bicyclists coming down the roadway, and then say biker on. Yell it loud so that people know that you're getting on to the route. We put up on the previous sheet about riding and riding right. We know now, RAGBRAI is large enough that we really do commandeer the whole road, but there is safety in riding to the right of the center lane. Many of Iowa's roads have large center lane cracks. This year's route has plenty of those. And so if you can stay to the right of the center lane, you're much safer. If you pass, you want to pass on the left and say out loud on your left as you're passing. I would not encourage you to pass on the right. It's a very dangerous situation because what can happen is someone else could pass that other rider on the left, and that rider would veer to the right into you. So we want you to pass on the left and call it out. What you're doing. I think as far as other things. During the day, because of the number of riders, you do get off your bike and walk through these towns a fair amount. If you have an exterior cleat on your shoe, meaning a 3-bolt SLR or look cleat, you should consider bringing cleat covers, because by the third day you're going to have worn out your cleats. So if you have standard SPD Shimano cleats that are recessed in your shoe, you'll be fine. If you have exterior cleats, you want to bring a cleat cover. Fred asked, which day has the greatest elevation gain? And that's the first day. 3,800 is my recollection. It's on the RAGBRAI. I apologize. It's on the RAGBRAI website, and I did ride every mile of it. But it is. We're in the Los Hills that first day, and it's pretty unbelievable how hilly Iowa is up there. The good news is that it flattens out right away, and the next day, and by the time we get to I-35, the biggest hill is going across the interstate. So there's Kyle's research in the total feet of climb. Right now I don't see it, but 4,110 feet of climb on the first day. On day 6, I will tell you that it is a challenge out of Solon. We're going from Hiawatha to Oroville, and once you get down to around the Solon area, there's a fair number of hills right there. That day has, if I remember correctly, let me look, it has 2,700 feet of climb, or no, excuse me, 2,600 feet of climb, and it's a challenge as well. It's not that long of a day; it's only 62 miles, but it is a challenge. Well, the hotels, icing boxes, or yes. So Linda's asking, will the hotels in Des Moines take your 4 bikes and boxes, luggage, airport arrival? So Linda, what we're going to do with that is Francisco will have at least one representative on the ground in Des Moines to shuttle you from the airport to the hotel of your choice that is within a block of hotels. And I may have referred to this earlier, but there's an area out in West Des Moines that has the full breadth of I didn't want to choose the price of a hotel for you for that night, so we will we'll provide you with the listing of hotels that are they're within a half a mile area, and we'll shuttle you over to that hotel with your bikes and your baggage that night, and we'll definitely inform the hotels that will need to use their concierge room for that. There's a Hampton, just so you know which hotels we're talking about. Hampton in West Des Moines. There's a Springfield Suites in West Des Moines. There is a La Quinta, which I think was the least expensive, and then there's a Country Inn and Suites. And those are all right at the I-235, I-80 interchange, which is where we want to be. And I'll provide that list of hotel and phone numbers, and hopefully you can find one that's worth, that would work for you. That is. I think we found that that's probably going to be the best way to do it. We have an address that we'll shuttle everybody to in the morning for pickup. Basically, it's an office parking lot that we have the permission to use for pickup. And so when you arrive in Des Moines and land on the ground, we got it from there. Any other questions? Francisco, do you have any questions or anything you want to add?
Actually, I just want to add up a couple things. I'm very happy to be to participate with you guys. I'm really excited to meet you all. It is my first time I'm going to be doing this RAGBRAI in style, and I'm really looking forward to it. So once we meet in person, you get to see that Iowa hospitality is a plus here. We are really happy to have you, and we're going to make your riding experience unique. And so I guess I just wanted to say that I'm really excited about this, and I can wait to meet you all.
I wanted to say that when it became clear that Francisco was available, it was an absolute no-brainer, because he's the real deal. He's a great guy. Barb is like I said, Barb's in rural Nebraska, and I don't believe she's got an internet connection that is allowing her to participate. But yeah, she is not. She's been on and off, but she's, like I said before, she's doing logistics for the tour to Nebraska that begins tomorrow. And she's just a very detail-oriented person, and she'll she's done work for me before. She was our charter director for a couple of years in the past, and she's done consulting work for me in the store. All around good gal, and she'll handle all the check-in logistics and things. So when you get to the hotel, ideally you get handed a set of keys, and you can grab a glass of wine or a beer and take your time and get cleaned up and just talk about the day. So.
Yeah. And I just to answer the question for Kevin, Kevin, yeah, I actually am going to have a phone number. In fact, once we meet for the first time, all of you will get my number, since I'm going to be your possibly your main driver. And just like Coop mentioned, we're going to be making anything possible for you guys. So you definitely are going to have my phone number. At this particular point in time, I don't have it. I don't have one available, but as soon as we meet for the first time, I'll give it to you guys. So maybe perhaps even before you guys arrive here in Iowa, you have my contact information.
Fred asked California or Iowa wine. Fred, I wouldn't I wouldn't do that to you. It'll be California wine. Actually, we'll try to find Italian wine if we can. But no, there are a few Iowa wines that are actually beginning to win some awards, and we should probably represent that a little bit. I will also tell you that we've got some pretty darn good microbrews out here. Yes. My good friend Dan McKay is owner of Peachtree, or a partner and the owner of Peachtree. Probably one of the finest microbrews in the Midwest. So yeah, that's a good question on the wine. So. All right, and that goes back to this Google survey. If there's a particular style of wine or beer or what have you that you want, we want to know that. You can expect that. My son is putting that together, and I think we'll have that. He's kind of the tech guy on these Google surveys, and you can expect that before the end of the week. But we'll ask you some preferences on those kinds of things, just to try to be a little more accommodating. Any other questions out there? Looks like we're coming up on an hour, and I want you to know that I'm available to answer any questions that I can. One of the things, if I'm probably a little more shoot from the hip kind of guy than Kyle or Barb, so they're gonna pick up the pace for me. I'm a natural positive person, and just say that we always have it together. Oh, okay. Barb says she can hear. She just texted. She can hear us, but we can't. She can't. We can't hear her. Any rate, so Barb, I'm glad you've been able to hear this. It's no problem. I understand. We knew that you were going to have a bit of a problem being in. The only thing that could be worse internet-wise than rural Iowa would be rural Nebraska, I think. But that's Antarctica. But anyway, thank you for joining us for our webinar, and we'll stay on here for a few more minutes. If there's any questions, we'll probably go ahead and mute this off. But like I said, thanks for joining, and we look forward to a fantastic RAGBRAI. It's really going to be a great time.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to seeing you all.
Fred, yeah, can you please just type in your email address just so I have that?
We'll just shoot it over right now while we're on this screen. We have it in another computer, but if you want to just type it in there, we'll shoot it over to you right now. He's still here.